about some specific instances
The
without
lawyer
disclosing the
representing the
victim's
people
name. You probably know that
versus Diddy.
depending on the age of the victim, you can file these cases, these individual cases, under Jane Doe or John Doe.
Okay.
Each state is different in that respect. Typically, there is a balancing test, like the public's right to know the name of the victim and plaintiff versus the confidentiality and the safety of the plaintiff. So we'll have to struggle with that with each one of these cases. Our intention, of course, is to, like we always do, file these cases under a pseudonym until the court tells us otherwise.
They're saying over 100 of them.
A few, just kind of give you a sense of the kind of cases and the kind of instances that people are calling and reporting that we are trying to corroborate, vet, and these are the ones that we've already corroborated, vetted, and collected evidence on. One individual who was 22 years at the time she was assaulted said that the typical MO at one of these parties that have been widely discussed in the press was that when you were handed a drink, and now we know that the drink is laced with something, if you refused to drink it, you were kicked out of the party.
So, can you imagine attending a party, right? And if you're not going to actually drink the drink that they are handing to you, you're out. I mean, right then and there, that's some shady. But the problem is, I think some people, like, they see Diddy and how famous he is, and they're just like, whatever, I'll drink what you want. I'll do whatever you want, you know? And that's what's mind-boggling to me because, you know, there's some groupies out there that I'm sure he doesn't have to, like, go to this extent. So does he have a thrill for drugging people? If that's what he's doing, you know, this is all alleged, by the way. Let's continue. But this is just wild, man, in general. Let's go.
Now, let that sink in for a minute. I mean, the admission to this party was that you had to drink the chosen drink that was handed to you. And now we know that in most cases, I would say 90% of the cases, these individuals were drugged with some sort of drug. That was kind of the MO. Another instance, this individual who was 9 years old at the time was taken to a audition in New York City with Bad Boy Records. Other boys were there to audition as well. All of them were trying to land a record deal. All of them were minors. This individual was sexually abused, allegedly by Sean Combs and several other people at the studio in the promise to both his parents and to him himself of getting a record deal.
Hold on. Can you imagine? Like, I got a 6-year-old, right? I got a 6-year-old. So you're saying 5. His birthday just passed. I could not imagine, like, you know, like having this kind of opportunity. My kid's all into music and everything, 9 years old. And this happens to my son? Oh, my God, man. That's horrible, man. Like, some real weirdo activity, bro. And, that's effing really young. Even if it's 22, like the first person, it's still effed up. But, I mean, you know, if this is true, this is making Diddy, the diddler, look even worse than Kells, right? Let me know your thoughts, man. Let's go. Excuse me, let's go.
Another instance, another minor, told allegedly by Sean Combs that he would make him a star, but he needed to visit with him in private about it, away from his parents. Once they were in a private area, allegedly Mr. Combs made the victim perform.
We're going to mute that
on him.
We got it.
Another incident, an individual 15 years old at the time, flown to New York City to attend a party, was drugged, and then taken into a private room, allegedly in the presence of Mr. Combs, where this female individual, minor, was raped, and then other individuals took turns raping her.
Hold on. If you didn't see part 1 of my reaction and part 2, you need to check those out because he talks more about the whole situation and it's absolutely insane. Man, this is way worse than I thought it would be now that you've got, you know, people of this age allegedly having this horrible thing happen to them. And one thing he said in part 2 that we did, that there are more people involved with this, that he will be speaking out about, and people that we, the people, will be shocked about. So him saying that there was other people involved, wow, who could it be? I mean, I'm sure a lot of us have ideas. I have ideas. I'm not going to say it, but you guys can in the comments if you'd like. Let's continue. Let's go. Yeah.
Another individual, 26 at the time of the occurrence, was picked up allegedly by Mr. Combs and several other people in a black SUV from the airport, was given one drink in the SUV, and then literally woke up the next day not knowing what had happened, but with pain and damage to both.
Oh my God.
Where she
we
was
gotta
to
mute that
the
too.
hospital. She was missing her underwear and her shoes.
You know, can you imagine getting picked up at the airport by Diddy? Now, you know, you don't know that Diddy's like this, allegedly. But we've seen what Diddy did to Cassie, so we know now how crazy he is. For what he did to Cassie, now all of this is more believable, right? Some of it was believable for some of us beforehand, but after actually seeing that video of Cassie, it's very believable, all of this stuff now, right? But before that, Diddy was like one of the hippest dudes on the planet. Everyone thought he was the coolest. People wanted to go to his effing parties. You're getting picked up by a black SUV by Diddy at the airport. He probably flew that person out. You go in, get greeted with a drink. You feeling like you feeling like life is just amazing. And then that happens? If this is true, terrible. Let's continue.
Another instance, an individual, this time not a minor, was attended a group dinner, allegedly with Sean Combs in Miami. She wasn't drinking because she was pregnant.
Why was she even there?
But whatever she drank at the table, apparently, at least according to her, was laced with something. She blacked out, and she woke up in the same bed, again, allegedly, with Mr. Combs.
Pregnant.
In his mansion in Miami. Her were torn and sore.
Gotta mute that.
And I could go on. I mean, literally, you're sensing a theme here.
I'm gonna put a link to the original video in the description.
And it all involves some sort of drug. One instance, an individual who was 20 years old at the time was asked to attend, just saw her on the street, asked to attend a party in a hotel. She was flattered, went to the party, was given one drink and doesn't remember anything else. Ultimately, was so messed up, went to the hospital where they found cocaine and this horse tranquilizer in her blood system.
Horse tranquilizer.
I'll give you a quote from a very young man who told us over the phone about his experience and all the things that happened to him. He says allegedly at the hands of Sean Diddy Combs and his friends in the effort to try to sign a record deal. This was kind of what he was told he would have to do. His quote is, "Had he not been in power, I feel like I could have been something great. I quit the industry because of what Sean Combs did to me."
Hold on. Can you imagine, once again, you know, you feel like you are like about to go somewhere with your dreams, and then you get taken advantage of, manipulated. There's so many stories we've been covering. You got to watch them all. I will put a playlist in the description or popped up on the screen at one point. But it's just terrible, man. And you know, we always hear about the music industry, how it can be dark. Seeing it right here, what is allegedly going on. These are allegations, and this is not factual. We got to make that clear, right? I mean, this is the lawyer representing, I think it's 120 people. Let's continue. Let's go.
And that's really what it comes down to. We are pursuing this, asking you to support this effort to encourage witnesses and victims to come forward and bring your evidence so we can continue to break down this wall of silence and we can continue to have these stories heard. This is the beginning of what I hope to be a national dialogue. This type of sexual assault, sexual abuse, and sexual exploitation should never happen in the United States or anywhere
Ever.
else. This should have never been allowed to go on for so long. This conduct has created a mass of individuals who are injured, scared, and scarred. If you are one of those individuals,
9-year-old.
we ask you to reach out. If not to us, to someone you trust. I'll take a few questions, not many, maybe two. But if you have a question, I'll be pleased to try to answer it. Perfect.
How many minors are making accusations in total, and are the feds aware of the allegations of minors?
How many?
I don't know what the feds are aware of, okay, but I do know it's 25 out of this 120.
Wow.
Antonio,
But I will say this to that point.
25?
We welcome the FBI or any authority who wants to come to us, and we're going to make that available to these victims because I think that's important.
For real?
My suspicion is, based on talking with these folks, is that the FBI is just not aware of these people. The FBI has talked to some of these folks, and I'm going to try to encourage the victims to, in fact, talk to the FBI because I think they have some very important things to say.
Tony,
Yes.
were all of the children auditioning because they were musicians, or were any of them kids of employees or anything like that?
All seeking either TV or some sort of music
Reality
career
show stuff.
with promises of,
Music.
we're going to make you a star. Instead, basically did things to them such that they don't want to have anything to do with the entertainment industry ever again. All right, guys.
I don't blame
Thank you
them.
very much for your attention. We're going to go now. Thank you.
Do you anticipate any Houston cases?
Any filed here?
Locally, yeah.
There's a few plaintiffs here, but I don't anticipate filing them here. Probably in New York City.
So yeah, man, this is the lawyer that's representing 120 at the moment cases. If you are a victim of something like this, get some help. If you ran into the diddler and I don't mean to be funny, but it just sounds funny saying the diddler. It's crazy because he's like a villain, he is a effing villain. No matter what, we literally seen what he did to Cassie. Just off the Cassie alone, he a effing villain, right? So I'm just taken back. I totally just lost my train of thought with it all. But they're saying 9. I mean, and then he's saying 25 out of the 120 were of around these ages. And there's probably more. I mean, one thing Diddy's known for is party, right? Party. So he's probably partying every day. People are coming in. He's picking people up. It's probably even more than that. You got to see the other vids we did. We did one with him talking about like the actual drugs that he was using allegedly. The second video I did yesterday was crazy, where he's talking about other people possibly involved and more. For some reason, they're getting hidden, these vids. So like and share these vids so they get out there to the public so people can see this. I'm going to put a pop up in a second to more. Just dig into the channel here. Go to the channel because you know how it is sometimes. I'm muting some of the language that was in here because YouTube is ultra sensitive with certain stuff. And I don't want to waste my time posting something and then it getting removed. So I will link the original video, which is very long. And, not everyone has time for all of these segments. And some people really like to hear reactions of what people are, hearing and their thoughts about it all after. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Subscribe. And, man, Diddy, man, is such a piece of shit, bro. Like, I'm just like, I've got 3 kids. I got 2 daughters, and it's like, it just scares me to think about like the future and like someone possibly taking advantage of my kids, and it just angers me. And I think a lot of people that are watching this that has children, that has kids, maybe also thinking like, yo, this is a scary effing world we live in, man. You know, I don't want to keep them out of my effing sight, man. It's crazy, man. We're going to be back really soon. Let me know if there's anything you want me to speak about. And thanks for tuning in. Peace and love, all right? Check out one of these vids, for real, all right? And original vid in the description. Yeah.